Francisco. Let's get to some more news. Todd Monken, hired by the Browns last week. He was introduced in Cleveland today. He inherits a QB room with Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel, and Deshaun Watson. He spoke about that situation today.
Well, I think like any position on the team, that's still to be determined. Am I excited about Shedeur? Am I excited about all the quarterbacks in the room? Am I excited to coach this football team? Absolutely. I can't wait for them to get back and for us to get started. When you talk about who's going to lead this team, who has the it factor, who has those characteristics that the team wants to follow and believes in them because the ball's in their hand every down. This game's going to come down to 2-minute situations, 4-minute situations where you've got to be able to execute at a high level.
Okay, so we're going to get to what you think Todd Monken should do with this situation, but you noticed something about what he said there that was interesting, Dan.
Well, he only said Shedeur's name. He said all the quarterbacks in the room, but he had previously said Shedeur. Yeah, so everything about Cleveland is, okay, what is at least the starting point plan at quarterback? Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel, does Deshaun Watson factor into it all? There's 2 first-round picks. I just think it'll be really interesting because this guy, Todd Monken, has had a ton of success in multiple places with offensive football, in multiple different schemes, with multiple different players. I mean, Ladd McConkey was one of the best players in college football at Georgia. Yeah. One of the best. And I know he's a very good pro, but when he talks about playmaker and the ability to have the ball in their hands late in the game, if I was going to say one thing, it would be make it an open competition from day one.
Yeah.
Day one. And let's see. If there's not going to be a draft pick, let's see who the best guy is.
Well, I think that's exactly what you have to do. You have to breed competition in Cleveland. And I don't think Kevin Stefanski was able to do that last year. Sure. It seemed like he was set on doing things a certain way. All of these men have played starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, and they've done it with varying levels of success and failures. You don't know what you have until you've put them in your system, until you run them through what it is to be the quarterback for your team. And you know you won't have necessarily the skilled players and players you need around them early, but if you find that guy, you can now build a team that needs to be built up from a roster standpoint in so many other places.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because the draft is late April. This team will probably get started with their offseason stuff sometime third week of March or something like that. There's only about a month that Todd Monken can be around these quarterbacks to figure out, okay, are we going to use one of those 2 first-round picks on a quarterback, or are we going, nope, one of those 3 guys is going to be the guy this year?
I think when you start looking at some of these guys in the draft, I don't know if that's what you want to do when you build a team with skill players with the 2 picks.
Yeah, it's going to be a dilemma. And how is he really going to know enough about what they do on the field during that period of time?
Yeah, right? And I would say out of those 3 guys that are there, Deshaun, Shedeur, and Dillon, I just think watching Monken over the years, I would tell you that Shedeur's probably the most equipped to operate the offense that he wants. It's heavy play action. I think that's what he does well.
Okay, Monken also did say that Jim Schwartz is an outstanding DC, but declined to comment on his return. So we're still keeping an eye on what they do there. How about this? The Cardinals introducing Mike LaFleur as their new head coach, and that quarterback situation, really interesting. They're trying to sort it all out, right? Kyler Murray still under contract, but there are questions about his future. As we know, LaFleur addressed that today.
Being in this division for 7 years, it was never fun. You know, I have a lot of respect, for him as a player. I know he got drafted in help me out there, is it 18 or 2019. So obviously those first 2 years, but again, having the 5 years having to go against him, a lot of respect for him as a player, and he was never a fun challenge to go against.
Peter Schrager joining us here. He'll be with us on NFL Live throughout the week as well. And Peter, what context can you add on Kyler Murray's situation going forward? Because that's the question everybody wants answered here.
How about that haircut on Mike LaFleur?
Woo!
Make a statement.
Look good. That's a new do.
That's one way to do it.
Kyler Murray is such an interesting one because the contract is there, and in 40 days, he'll get $20 million guaranteed if he's still on the roster. If they cut him in the next 40 days, they don't have to pay that and they can move on. Is that enough where you say, I want to wait and see and get through free agency and get through the draft process and see if there's anyone else out there? Truth of the matter is, Mike LaFleur said it. He's been in this conference, for this division, for 7 years, going from the Niners, of course, went to the Jets for a little bit, then back with the Rams. If anybody knows how dangerous Kyler is and what he thinks of Kyler, it is him. He's done the work on him. They're not going to give anything in an opening press conference, but I can tell you this. There is no sure thing that Kyler's out. They hired Mike LaFleur. During those interviews with those coaches, and I talked to several different candidates who met with the Cardinals, they asked the Kyler question, and from what I gather, Mike LaFleur is not shutting the door on bringing Kyler back.
I think that makes sense because it's not an easy decision. To your point, they can cut him, but they would be taking a big cap hit, and there aren't that many quarterback options. It's hard for me to easily imagine them making a choice. I do think a trade would be more attractive to them if that's in the offing, so this could be them like kind of putting out feelers and waiting and seeing. I don't know what they should do at quarterback, but I do know this. I'm not surprised that they went in the NFC West for their head coaching hire, given how strong the coaches are on these teams, how successful that they've been. And while it's hard to know exactly what Matt LaFleur is responsible, or Mike LaFleur, pardon me, I'm not going to do that approximately 1 million times between now and then.
I was there for the press conference.
Oh, my
so you're
God.
not that far off. He was there.
I saw he was there, yeah. No,
cool.
Too many brothers. Okay, so... Yeah, we don't know because Sean McVay is a play caller in L.A. But I do like the fact that he's been in that building, and it's an offense that's undergone a lot of change. Peter, you know this, covering the Rams so closely. This season, they switched from being primarily an 11 personnel team to using 3 tight ends. That's something Arizona loves to do. Their best skill player is a tight end. And they've also really evolved their run game in L.A. It's changed a lot from being that wide zone rushing attack to more gap, more duo. So I'm interested in seeing the influence he has on the run game in Arizona because it's a run game that has struggled this season.
I would really just quickly add, I think a lot of people are looking at this as like they're the bridesmaid in the Clint Kubiak sweepstakes. They really liked Mike LaFleur. Clint Kubiak did go on to be the coach of the Raiders, but this does not feel like this is, oh, shucks, we didn't get Clint Kubiak. They were excited about LaFleur as well.
Hey, speaking of those brothers, these guys now, Mike and Matt, will be the 4th pair of brothers to serve as NFL head coaches. So it's running in the family.
Too many Mikes, too many Matts.
Right. 2 M's, alliteration. Oh, my goodness. All right, coming up, we got more to get to. Hired Matt Nagy to be his offensive coordinator. Nagy was the Chiefs OC last season. Now he gets a chance to call the plays as he did as the Bears head coach with Mitchell Trubisky. Marcus, do you like this hire for Jackson Dart and the Giants?
Mitch Trubisky, 38 starts, 56 QBR. Justin Fields, 10 starts, 31 QBR. Nick Foles, 8 starts, 38 QBR. Andy Dalton, 6 starts, 39 QBR. That's been Matt Nagy's quarterbacks while he's been calling plays. No, I'm not confident, okay? And I get what I get it. He's been around. He's been in Kansas City behind Andy Reid. Hopefully he brings some of that and the ability to play at a high level. He's dealing with a young quarterback. The Mitch Trubisky and the Justin Fields didn't work out. So, look, this league is about results. Sure. This league, you get judged on how do you develop guys. His development of young quarterbacks have been awful. And that's what that says. So I'm not indicting Matt Nagy as a bad coach. All I can look at is the last time you had 2 young quarterbacks, they didn't perform well. And now Jackson Dart, going into his 2nd year, is going to be under his tutelage. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence, but maybe something has changed.
Yeah, this is not one of those slam dunk hires for me. When you go with a guy with experience, that experience has to be one that is successful. That experience has to be one that is productive. And we know this is the most important hire for John Harbaugh, that who is going to be teamed with Jackson Dart's progression, with Jackson Dart's progress to where he can be the quarterback who not only stays on the field, but a quarterback who adds to his game. And I don't believe that Matt Nagy is that person. I believe there's a reason he went from offensive coordinator to offensive coordinator, why Andy Reid felt like it was time to make a change, or maybe he had to move on. I don't love this hire for the New York Giants. As much as I was high on the John Harbaugh hire, I think I have to be in a wait-and-see position when it pertains to Matt Nagy.
I think the big thing, because Marcus makes a great point of how is he different as a coach from the experience of Mitchell Trubisky and Justin? Because when I think of Mitchell Trubisky and Justin at that time in their career, they were what? Young, talented, athletic, playmakers. How would we describe Jackson Dart right now?
Same way.
Yeah,
right? And so the development of those 2 young quarterbacks didn't happen, and the offense hasn't been great. So what's different? Like, what has Matt Nagy learned from his experience since then that maybe he wishes he did differently? Because those guys, Mitchell Trubisky and Justin, never struggled with physical ability and talent. They just never developed into quarterbacks. Like the ability to consistently play the quarterback spot rather than the playmaker spot. How does that change?
Yep.
I'll focus on the last 2 years in Kansas City, right? It's always hard to know how much to take from Andy Reid because he's the play caller. What did Matt Nagy learn there? What can he bring with him to New York? And I think there's a lot in the passing game in terms of the way Kansas City used motion, formation to get guys open without the greatest group of skill players at that time. RPOs is going to be a big part of that. Was a big part in Kansas City. It'll be a big part of the offense in New York. I think the one thing, though, you'd really like to see that's different from Kansas City is the run game in Kansas City really just stems from the pass. It's just an extension of that, right? And Patrick has to make so many of those choices. A lot of them are tagged to RPOs. I don't think that's how you can do things in New York. You want this offense with Jackson Dart. I wouldn't say run first because that's kind of a archaic way of looking at it, but that should be the strength of this football team. So I think for Matt Nagy, that's the challenge here. You didn't run the ball well in Kansas City.